What's good, y'all? What's good? Marcus Frazier from Teachable Tuesdays here to motivate you, encourage you, and inspire you to be a better you. Thank you for joining me today. Greatly appreciate it. As always, if you could, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification button to stay up to date with all of my future Teachable Tuesdays content. Today, we are going to continue with an article that we read or that we went over yesterday. And this is 22 people that told me their reasons behind never getting married. And this is by Miss Jess Goodwin. Shout out to her, by the way. Listen, if you didn't check out part one, I would highly recommend that you go to part one, check that out, and then come back here. That was a video from yesterday. We did the first 11 reasons, and today we are going to do the last 11 reasons. As always, I'm going into this blind. I'm not going to offer too much commentary, just like I did in the last video, until the end. And the main difference between the last video and this video is we are going to actually get into the comment section and what they say. And as always, if you like, subscribe, hit the notification button so you can stay up to date with all of my future Teachable Tuesdays content, articles I do in the future, and a whole bunch of random stuff. So without further ado, let's go and get to it. We're going to go to reason number 12 that people have stated that they have not gotten married or they don't want to get married. And this is by Nick. And she says, I have so much debt because of student loans. I love my partner, but I would never want them to risk not being able to buy a home or take out their own loans because of how much debt I have. Now, I'm going to comment on this. That's a fear of mine because I ain't going to hold you. I got student loans, quite a bit. You know what I'm saying? And that is a fear with me and the person that I want to marry at some point, not a person currently, but eventually when it gets to that point, because, when you get married, you got to understand that in a sense, your debt becomes their debt. Their debt becomes your debt. Not directly. It's not under your name directly, but if something happens to them, it's a good chance that it's going to go to you. You know what I'm saying? So that is something to think about. That's a legitimate fear. I ain't going to hold you. That is a legitimate fear. I got to give her that one big time. All right, number 13. I think I would cheat. Whoa. Okay, I didn't see this coming. I know that's horrible to say, but just the thought of being committed to one person forever makes my skin crawl. I know I would feel trapped no matter what or how my amazing partner would be. Best to dodge the bullet and save someone else from pain and betrayal. You know what? As crazy as that sounds, I respect it. That is by Glittery Bubble 50. It sounds crazy, but hey, I got to respect the person that knows themselves. Number 14. I've had 2 long-term relationships that ended in me being cheated on. Both times I had to work really hard to pick up the pieces of my life and put myself back together again. Going through a divorce and separating 2 legally and financially entwined lives would be even harder. I am also not prepared to risk myself again. I finally have a home I like, although it is rented. I get disability benefits, which is just about enough for me to live on, and I have a nice, quiet, simple life. Someone would have to be almost perfect for me to even consider dating again, but I will never live with someone again, let alone marry them. Spiky Blue. Man, I'm sorry, my man. I'm really sorry. That's heartbreaking. And like I said, some of these are not selfish. Some of these are really for legitimate reasons. I can understand that. Number 15. Mainly my boyfriend and I have been together happily for over a decade. We bought a house together. What would change? Some stats on a piece of paper? No thanks. Not really our thing. We're also not into the whole wedding thing. The wedding industry upcharges the dumbest things to an astronomical amount for the sole fact of the word wedding is attached to it. I know you could elope or go to the justice of the peace, but nothing would change between us. It wouldn't make us stronger or happier after being together for as long as we've been. No need to change what good thing we have. This is by Cheese Bones, okay? Number 16. On my grandfather's deathbed, he told my grandmother about his other family. I was a young child. Now I tell men I don't believe in monogamy. They think it's cool until they fall in love or lust or like. Then everything I want disappears. And my agency is non-existent as my dear grandma's. This is Maya Forbids 999. So I'm assuming this is somebody that practices polygamy, I guess, based on what I'm reading it. So she, if I'm having an understanding, she's basically like, look, I'm not, I don't believe in just settling down for one person. So that's where she's at with that. Number 17. For me, it begs the question, how can I be expected to care for and about someone else so fully when I cannot do that for myself? This is by Morgan Larissa. Number 18, marriage was like an anchor chaining me to my abuser and drowning me in his poor choices. My ex was abusive in every way. He was sentenced to a year in jail for physical abuse, and I still had to pay to divorce him. Oh, also, I was on the hook for the credit cards he stopped paying on too. Kind of goes back to the debt thing that I was telling you guys about earlier. It all added insult to injury. Screw that. I don't need the government or creditors involved in my intimate relationships. I've been with my partner for 11 years now. Life's great, but we'll never get married. I'm still resentful of how harmful being legally and financially attached was for me. This is by C449144C2A. Hey, valid reason. Can't knock that. Number 19. The truth is, I would rather break up than get divorced. Every divorce I have seen has been expensive and messy. I've seen amicable and easier breakups. By Trey Williams. Very true. Can't disagree with him on that. Number 20. We got 3 more to get through. I've never seen the appeal of getting married. I don't want children, and I enjoy my freedom and being only responsible for myself. I can make last-minute travel decisions or spend a day in bed watching Netflix if I want. It's a very liberating sense of freedom. I don't have to worry about sharing finances if the other person isn't on the same page as I am with savings, goals, etc. This was by Thea_M. All right. Those are some good points. Let's get these last 2. Personally, 21 says, personally, I always felt like it ruined dating and relationships for me. To go out with someone and have the end goal of marriage always be in the picture made it really hard to make connections that I found to be rooted in honesty. It always felt like I was making decisions to be with someone for the wrong reason, just to get married. I'm not going to lie. That's something that I've had to debunk with myself and kind of dispel, if you will. Just, yes, I do ultimately want to get married, but I ultimately have to learn how to enjoy the aspect of dating. I know dating is not a biblical thing, but, getting to know someone in hopes that it can be a long-term commitment is a real thing. And you can't really enjoy that process if you're focused on the end goal, that you fail to realize what's going on in between your end goal and, your current position. So I can definitely admit that's something that I've struggled in. And I think I've probably pushed a few women away being too end goal minded as opposed to just living in the moment. I can definitely accept that. She also goes on to say, when I decided that wasn't right for me, it made dating way easier because I didn't feel like there was an end goal and I could decide to be with someone just because I wanted to be. I'm not saying people date just to get married, but for me, it always felt like this weird underlying box to check off. And once I decided I wasn't going to do it, dating became way easier and way less stressful. And this is by Rachel LP 4372B051D. And also, fellas, when you just have the mindset of going with the flow and just allowing things to go what they may, if a woman really wants to, settle down with you, she will. And same thing for my ladies. When you just kind of go with the flow and there's not really a lot of pressure, understand that if a man wants to put a ring on it, he going to put a ring on it. You know what I'm saying? So I feel that 100%. Last one, 22. I have been married, did the whole house, kids, dog, and then divorced all before I was 28 years old. So she got married young. The person in my life now completes me so fully, and we are not married. It makes me question, what is the point of marriage actually? If I can be happy without marriage, then that is enough for me. And that's by Lizzie Joe, 1590. All right. So these are some very interesting perspectives. Very, very interesting perspectives. I mean, I think everybody has their own reasons for not getting married. Some people will happily agree. Some people will happily disagree. But I think either way, all these reasons are valid in their own rights. Clearly, there's definitely been some hurt from some. For others, they've seen some things growing up that they maybe just didn't approve of or change their perspective. For some, they're not religious. You know what I'm saying? There's like, if I'm not a Christian or a Jew or a Muslim or someone who practices a form of spiritual practice, what's the point of me getting married? So, everybody has their own perspective. And looking at the votes for the article, I guess it's like it goes from win to WTF. So WTF is, I guess, I disagree. A win is like I totally agree with everything that was going on in the article. So 28 people said win. 18 people said fail. I guess that's, I guess they disagree, I guess. 10 people got a heart, so it means they really liked it. 6 people thought the article was cute. 6 people were heartbroken by the article. 4 people put LOL. They thought it was funny. 3 people said OMG. 3 people said WTF. So let's go ahead and get into a few of these comments. We're not going to read too many, just a few. And then we're just going to go from there. So Kylan says number 1 and number 2 are so accurate. I just got divorced after almost a decade of marriage because I stopped allowing my ex to do the bare minimum in my relationship, and that was too much for him. He went out and found a naive woman to fill that void for him, and he got remarried a few months after our divorce, while my life has gotten easier without having to clean up after him anymore. While I know this isn't the case 100% of the time, looking at married friends and family and friends, it's a much higher percentage than it should be. I'm so glad women are seeing this and realizing that if a man isn't bringing anything to the table is better off without him. And I'm trying to get to the reply section. I'm sorry, y'all. Give me a second. My thing is, computer's acting a little slow. Let's try to refresh the page and see what happens. Okay. Let's try this again. So read the comment. Let's see if we can. I'm trying to see if I can get to the replies. But my computer is acting kind of funny right now. Show replies. Yeah, that's weird. Okay, this is interesting. All right. My bad, y'all. For some reason, it is not showing the replies, and it's not showing the extra comments either. I'm not sure. Oh, I see why. It's not showing it because apparently I have to sign in. Okay. All right. So I guess that's going to wrap up the video. I'm sorry. I know that was kind of anticlimactic. I was hoping to read some more comments, but I guess for BuzzFeed, you have to create an account. And I'm not on BuzzFeed that often to create an account. Let me know, guys, if you want me to check out some more BuzzFeed articles. If that's the case, I'll go ahead and create an account just for the sake of responding to the comments. But overall, my final thoughts on this is everybody has their own reasons for getting married, for not getting married. I don't think anyone is necessarily right or wrong for what they choose. I will say that marriage is definitely a process, and it's a ministry ultimately, if we're, taking it to biblical sites and whatnot. Not every ministry is for everyone, but the one thing I can say is I think the people that want to get married have good reasons to, and the people that don't want to get married, they also have good reasons to. And I think we have to stop looking at it from a perspective of everybody has to get married. Everybody doesn't have to get married. You know what I'm saying? And everybody that thinks they're going to get married, I have some bad news. They probably won't get married because marriage is not for everyone. You know what I'm saying? For the people that it's for, they do their best to make it work. Sometimes things work, sometimes things don't. For the people that it's not for, then, I respect their stance, and hey, like some of these reasons, were completely respected because they know themselves. They know what's going to work for them and what's not going to work for them. All right. But y'all leave a comment below. Let's have a discussion. Let me know what you guys think. It's Marcus Frage from Teachable Tuesdays here to motivate you, encourage you, and inspire you to be a better you. Love you guys. Hope you have a great day and see you in the next video. Peace.